Tell me, where is an interesting place you've traveled?
I spent a month in Canada last year with a friend from my hometown. We began in the West, in Vancouver, and took a train across the country to Quebec, stopping several places in between. I found the scenery and the cities very interesting.
Do you like to fly on airplanes? Why or why not?
I don't mind flying on airplanes, but I don't love it. It's not fun going through all the security to get on the flight, and the seats are always uncomfortable. It's usually a relief to get off the plane at my destination.
Where is a place you'd really like to visit?
I would love to visit Australia one day. I am a scuba diver, so I'm especially interested in seeing the Great Barrier Reef.
Okay, now let's talk a little bit about food. What is your favorite food?
I really love sweets, and chocolate is my favorite treat by far. I have at least one small piece of chocolate every day.
What kinds of food do people from your country normally eat for breakfast?
Breakfast is not a big meal in my country. Most people have a cup of coffee and some bread and butter, or perhaps some cereal and yogurt.
Who did most of the cooking in your home?
My mother and father shared the cooking duties in our family. Both of my parents worked during the day, so whoever came home first would start preparing dinner.
Do you prefer eating a home cooked meal or eating at a restaurant?
That's a difficult question to answer. I do love trying new types of food that I can't make easily at home. And it's very fun to socialize with friends at a restaurant. But these are special occasions. In general, I prefer to eat food at home and spend time with my family at the dinner table.
Now, in this section of the test, I have a topic for you, which you should talk about for 1 to 2 minutes. You may use the first minute to plan your answer and write some notes. Okay, so I would like for you to discuss something important you learned from a teacher.
I've had several excellent teachers, but one stands out to me because of a significant lesson she taught me. I took this teacher's math class when I was in the third year of high school. I've always found math frustrating, and this class was especially difficult for me. My teacher noticed that I was struggling, but she didn't give up on me. The important lesson she taught me was that I should never be afraid to take risks and try new things, even if I might fail. This lesson was meaningful to me because up to that time, I generally stayed away from activities that might be difficult for me. I was afraid of failure, and even more afraid of people watching me fail. My high school math teacher noticed this in me. I always sat at the back of her class and looked down at my desk when she asked questions. After one very difficult quiz in which I missed a lot of questions, she sat with me for nearly an hour to help me understand how to answer the problems. When we finished, she told me she would offer me an opportunity to improve my grade, but only if I would get in front of the class the next day and teach everyone what I had learned about the questions I had answered incorrectly. I took her offer, and by getting in front of the class and teaching others, I learned that I was not the only person struggling and that I had the skills to teach others about these difficult problems. I think it's a good lesson for life. It's important to take risks and overcome the fear of failure.
Do you use what you learned from this teacher in your everyday life?
Yes, I'm much more likely to try new things now than I was in high school. For example, I am not a great musician, but I joined a choir recently because I love singing and music. Performing in front of an audience is fun and gives me confidence. It is definitely something I would not do if I still feared failure like I did before.
Did you ever tell this teacher about your appreciation?
Well, I thanked her at the time for giving me so much help with my quiz. I don't think I realized the larger lesson she taught me until much later, until after I graduated from high school. It's unfortunate because I really would like to thank her.
Okay, now in the final part of the test, Let's consider teaching and learning more deeply. What qualities make an excellent teacher?
Obviously, a good teacher should be knowledgeable about the subject matter he or she teaches, but it's also important for a teacher to be passionate about the class. An excellent teacher is excited to be there and wants to show students something amazing or useful, or both. A teacher should be very committed to student growth and learning. Some students need a lot of attention and help. Some students learn best by hearing a lecture, while others will learn best by performing an activity. Whatever the need may be, excellent teachers find ways to reach students in the most effective way.
What are some mistakes teachers make that make them less effective?
I think it is a mistake when teachers focus mainly on the best students. Yes, some students will always understand the class materials faster and more easily than others, but that doesn't mean these students should receive the most attention from teachers. Teachers should find ways to push these students and the students who might be struggling in class. I imagine it must feel good to teachers when the best students grasp the material quickly. They might think, I taught this idea well since the smartest students understand. In reality, though, a teacher's measurement of success should be how well the entire class understands, not just a few of the best students.
Would you enjoy being a teacher? Why or why not?
I don't think I would like to be a teacher. The social aspect of teaching would be nice, daily interaction with students and parents, but I believe I would not like classroom management. It seems like so much of teaching involves managing student behavior, grading assignments, organizing clubs, and other extracurricular activities. I have enough work just organizing my own time. It seems like too much to manage an entire classroom.
Finally, let's consider the current climate of education. Do you think kids face too much pressure or too little pressure related to school these days?
Well, I think they face a lot of stress and pressure, but I don't think it's so different from what most students will eventually find in the real world when they graduate from school. What I find unfortunate is that nowadays very young children, first and second graders, are following very strict schedules at school and at home related to their schoolwork and other activities. I believe small children should have freedom to have fun and enjoy being young. As students mature into the higher grades, it's more appropriate for students to face pressure. In the end, I believe there's more to life than school and work. So each person must decide how much pressure to allow into his or her life.
Thank you. That is the end of the test.